What's that, Luna? Oh, you want to start a podcast? Okay, so what's it going to be about? History of the Byzantine Empire and how it relates to the Holy Roman Church through its culture, religious practices, and societal norms? Wow, that's intense. So how are you going to distribute your podcast to the world? Anchor.fm? Good call, Loons. You know that Anchor will distribute your podcast for you, so you can be heard on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and many other platforms. That way you can spend more time chasing your brother Sherman and soaking up some sunbeams. I know Sherman can be a jerk, but he's just a cat, remember? And the other thing, it has everything you need to make a podcast all in one place. Anchor.fm is like one-stop podcast creation. Plus, it's free. I mean, as a podcast spokesdog, you have no idea why things hold monetary meaning, but just know free is a good thing. Yes, so everyone should download the free Anchor app or go to anchor.fm to get started. Okay, there's no need for that language. I think our enthusiasm is enough to encourage people to try it out. Seriously, Byzantine history, not like a dog treat or most doggy accessible park review? Okay, I mean fine, but if you have more listeners than us, no busy bones for like a week. Oh, I mean a day. Ugh, I can't stay mad at you. Hi, I'm Ray.
And I'm Veronica.
And welcome to another edition of Page to Screen from the Chick Lit Book Club podcast.
Today we're discussing Naughty Books by Austen Eleanor Rockless. Racheless? We're not sure.
We're not sure.
We suck. That's fine.
We suck as humans. It's fine. I'm going to say you're probably right with Rockless.
It looks like Rockless. Racheless doesn't...
It doesn't sound
right.
But,
Listener,
you know,
it's spelled Rachlis.
And, you know, if I had time, or good, I would have done a pronunciation. But I just can't, guys. I just can't.
Also, in the interest of full disclosure, this is the second time we're recording this because somehow we fucked up.
Yeah, it's all me, guys. It is all Ray's fault.
It wasn't, because I'm the one who was like, turn off Zoom. So we even lost our backup.
Yeah, I mean, backup.
It was my
backup.
fault. That was my fault.
No, it's cool. But it's so we're gonna be fuzzy on some details because we watched this
a month ago.
Yep. Well, you know, to get you guys kind of up to speed with what this it's a documentary is about, and it's on Hulu. Mm-hmm. It's called Naughty Books. It's I'll give you a little summary. No one was prepared for the success of 50 Shades of Grey, originally written in 2010 as a piece of Twilight fan fiction. I still can't fucking believe that. Mm-hmm. And posted online because okay, hold on, let's go back for a second because I want to talk about this for a second. Wait, okay, so how did having read 50 Shades?
Yes, I have not. You have. Mm-hmm.
How did someone go, you know, it's really great. We're going to take this YA book and add a whole bunch of spanking.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
And
it's like some flogging.
Flogging and period sex and all kinds of stuff. Like, cool. Okay.
And like a very poorly executed depiction of BDSM.
Right, like not researched. We will talk about researched BDSM in another podcast. But I mean, okay, I'm gonna go back to I'm sorry, I just had to take an aside there. Okay, so
it's a fair aside.
But women don't only read erotica in large numbers; they also wrote it. In the aftermath of Five Sog, a cottage industry emerged around self-published romance novels. Once women who worked 40-hour-a-week jobs, living paycheck to paycheck, many of them are now New York Times bestseller authors with their own merchandise lines and diehard fans. Naughty Books follows three such women, an Air Force vet, a telemarketer, and a hospital administrator who became millionaires in under a year by using pen names to sell erotica online. They garnered thousands of fans and secured lucrative book deals with major publishing houses by writing about good girls and bad boys finding love and having steamy sex. However, as more and more people saw writing erotic novels as a quick path to money and fame, the market became saturated with hundreds of romance novels published every month, making success difficult to maintain. I mean, that's a pretty good summary, because it
is. It's pretty comprehensive,
what
really.
happens. I mean, supply and demand, that's what happens.
Flooded market.
It is. So, yeah, the three that they talk about primarily, or they talk to primarily, I have written down: Kristen Proby, C.J. Roberts, and Kelly Maine. Kelly Maine is the Akron woman, isn't it?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Yeah. Canton woman.
Well, even in the PR thing, it says Akron, though.
Yeah, so, I mean, we got a little to our heart about that.
Holla.
So it does follow. I wonder how long actually they follow these women, because it is a substantial amount of time. It seemed like a while.
Yeah, it really did. Like enough for hairstyles to change. You know, like it wasn't just like, we're going to spend a week with these people. Yes.
Disclaimer, I would actually really like, forget the fucking writing. I want to know about these marriages, because that's what the documentary I want, about these marriages that these three women had, because
and the one woman who, the only woman who was like in what we assume is a decently healthy relationship, is not actually on that list that we just
that's
gave.
Laura Lynn Page. Lynn Page. Yeah, they don't even really get. She's not featured. She's featured. She gets a talking head, but she's not featured in it. Like Colleen Hoover is. She does a talking
like one
head
vignette or something. Where she talks a little bit.
She says, "Isn't everyone's fantasy that you're going to take them and break them? In reality, oh no, that's somebody else. Never mind, that's something else. I just kept writing. Now my notes are like, again, it was fucking month, guys. I'm trying to remember what everything could happen.
I forget what Colleen Hoover said, but I think she only had like one quote. She was in it for like a minute.
Yeah,
it wasn't a super long time.
And she's probably, like, if you're looking at the four that are or five, she's the most well known.
Yeah,
but she's not really erotica as much as these other ones. Like I
actually, confession, I've not read Colleen Hoover.
I haven't either, but I know, like, her oeuvre, for the most part, is not usually erotica.
Yeah, I don't think it's erotica, but I get the impression it's spicy.
I mean, I think... Okay, so the other thing about this documentary is they read excerpts from each of the three women. And what's cool is Aisha Tyler does the one. Yeah. Mm-hmm. I love her. And then, is it Allison Tolman? Is that who it was? I think it was, who I fucking love. She was, guys, if you've not seen Fargo season 2, please watch it, because it is amazing. I'm looking. Yes, Allison Tolman. And honestly, I don't remember who wrote which one. I liked the Aisha Taylor one, I think. That was the first one.
Yeah, that was really... Also, the illustrations, like,
yes,
they do
really
are
cool.
Beautiful. They're really cool.
Yeah, and I forgot what kind of style that is. Somebody's husband would probably know that more than I would.
Yeah, probably someone's husband would.
Yes, which we are not going to name.
We will not. He did end up watching part of this with me. Like the second half, maybe, or something. And he was basically like, what is happening? Like,
yeah. Okay, so guys, all right. So we start off, it's all happy and nice, and you get to meet these authors and their families and see where they're coming from and where their roots are and how they became, like he said, multi-millionaires. But how quickly that goes. I mean, and that's any sort, it isn't just being like an author. I mean, that happens with any sort of, if you were in, it's called supply and demand for a reason. That's what happens. You're in demand. And so, yeah, you're making gobs of money, and then the demand gets harder and harder and harder, and the market gets flooded and flooded and flooded, and you're a flash in the pan. And these women are trying to keep up with what, I mean, but they're asking for new books every 4 or 5 months.
Yeah, I mean, some of them. Yeah, it's frequent. It's more than 2 a year. It's like on average 2+ a year.
Yeah.
Which is hard. I mean, it's hard to write like a full-length novel in a 4-month period of time. It's obscene.
And then you don't, and it's like, then they're expecting these people to write these very different and unique novels. It's like, at some point, you just put an insert A and insert B. Come on, bitches. Like, I mean, that at that point is like...
You're choosing a trope and then, like, attempting to make unique characters.
And in fact, at one point, I think is when we started to see, I think it was C.J. Roberts. I think that's the one that was the veteran.
Yes, C.J. Roberts was the...
She was starting to, like, she was brainstorming with, I think it was her brother, and they were brainstorming, like, different
like
occupations. Occupations. And her husband came in. I forget
what it was. It was like, what kind of person would need to know blah, blah, blah. I forget exactly what it was. Yeah.
It was like, you know, if you had a character sketch of something like this person plus this person equals this person. And then her husband came in. And do you remember what her husband said to her? Because that's when we first realized that her husband was a piece of crap.
Yes. So he comes in, first of all, and he like sits down and expects her to like braid his hair.
I was like, oh, get the fuck out of here.
And I could literally see his face, like how unamused he was by the whole thing. But they're sitting here, she and her brother, whoever, was like, they're trying to brainstorm this like character idea. And he was like, what are you guys even talking about? And she said, I was like,
take some interest in your fucking wife's work, dude.
Seriously. And she was like, I have to write like a novella. It was like a short piece.
Yeah.
By whatever date it was.
Yeah.
And he said, like, well, that sounds lame. Or something to that effect.
Cool.
And she was like, I mean, I think, like, I was silent, like, dead silent.
I started to get that pit in my stomach going, this is not good.
Pissed.
This is not good.
Like, she goes, well, it's interesting if like it's your job, if it's like what you do,
right? It puts food in your mouth, you piece of shit. Yeah,
right. Like, shut the fuck up, man.
And we see the deterioration of their relationship after that. Like,
yeah, you end up overhearing, or like he's on
oh my god, the
something.
domestic. It was a domestic.
They were like yelling at each other.
Well, because they weren't living together, and I don't know what was happening. One of the kids was like, he was sick, or I have no idea.
Something weird was going on.
It was horrific, and I thought, okay, that's where I was like, I would rather just, I mean, as a Dateline watcher, I was like, I'd rather see what the fuck's happening outside of the book shit, because this is crazy. Someone's going to get shot. Like, I mean,
I literally wrote in my notes right here in front of me, in all caps, it says, why are men?
Yes. So there's only one couple, like we said, that it actually turns out of the I mean, I don't know what Kelly mean, if she was married or what.
I couldn't tell.
I couldn't either.
Because they didn't really show anyone else. So if she had a family, like, she was keeping them away. Like, off of the camera, which I fully respect. Totally get that.
And the thing is, the three, she's the one who went back to, like, mainstream stuff.
Yeah, because she wrote YA, and then she also wrote, like, erotica, basically, but that was under a pen name, and that's Kelly Maine is that name, I think.
Yeah, like, she was, like...
And she was struggling. Like, she was just like, I don't really want to write this anymore.
No. And
but everybody wants, like, the taboo stuff now, the dark romance, and so she was trying to do it, and didn't they, like... Something happened with hers where, like, Amazon wouldn't publish it. Do you remember that?
Yeah. Well, somebody, and there was what I really liked, there were a couple of talking heads that were in there, like, this one woman who was like she was a lit, but it was like psychology lit or something like that. Again, it's been a month.
Yeah.
Where she said, when are we going to get to the point where there's no plot and it's just like, it's just a book. Sex. And I'm like, yeah, I mean, because... I'm not going to lie, the excerpts that they read, I was about. Like, I just was like, especially, I hate to say it, by C.J. Roberts, because that was the one with the abuse.
That was the taboo, yeah.
Yeah, that one really bothered me.
Yeah, that's when my husband came in. And he was like,
of course,
why?
Of course, Veronica's husband always comes in on those horrible things.
Always comes in on like the weird shit.
Yeah. And part of that, I think, feeling like, because you remember what she said too, is growing up Catholic, I feel like shame and arousal are right in my pockets. Like,
yeah, right in my, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, and her writing was very much like that. It seemed to be, I have not read any of her stuff, but just what the excerpt they gave was like, it was like, where is the line? This is like, because there was, if I remember correctly, wasn't there like, there wasn't spanking, but there was definitely like torture or something.
I think it was like very questionable, dubious consent.
Yeah.
And I think she was like inching away. I remember the illustration more than I remember the words. It
was enough that I did not feel clean.
No. Well, not even that, but like I was like, I don't want to read that.
No. I felt kind of like, ugh.
Oh, she was the one who, so she found a decent amount of fame right after 50 Shades because she published right after that. Mm-hmm. And people would say to her like, oh, is that like 50 Shades of Grey? And she would say, if you thought 50 Shades of Grey was like too much for you, my shit's not for you. Because it's beyond, she said it's like beyond 50 Shades
and
of
like
Grey.
You said, it's taboo. It was like, it's definitely like, dubcon. Like that's, so like we mentioned earlier, Veronica did not read 50 Shades, but I read 50 Shades.
And I truly have no desire to read it.
And I watched the movie. I did not read second or third.
Movie. However, I saw the movie like on TBS one night. While I was like knitting, so because I'm 100 years old, but like so of course I got like a PG rated, you know,
and I saw all the good parts.
Right,
I did not see the plot part.
Yeah,
I mean, and I'm using good parts loosely.
Right, that's.
I got to see Jamie Dornan. That's pretty much the good parts.
Does he have a full frontal part? Or is
no,
it? Oh, okay.
No. She does though. I'm pretty sure.
How come that's allowed?
I don't know. I don't.
Because men rule the world?
Because why are men?
Why are men?
But
I assume a man directed that.
Oh God, I don't know. That's a good question.
Let me look it up.
But with 50 Shades, so I don't know. Maybe it's just because I've read romance novels for so long, and I have read stuff that's been like very borderline erotic. That I'm thinking having a semblance of like, writing is awful. Like she can't construct a fucking sentence.
Right.
You're looking.
I'm surprised because a woman directed this movie.
Really?
Mm-hmm. And a woman wrote the screenplay.
With help from E.L. James?
Well, it says based on the novel by.
So I have to laugh, and I know I've mentioned on our regular feed, we'd read and weep before, but they read all 3 books, and they said their favorite character was actually the helicopter, which made me laugh so hard. I was like, yes,
that's good,
agreed. But it's one of those your heart breaks because you're like, there are so many better. I have to look. And before we close tonight, I will for this episode, I will look up the erotica that I read from Harlequin, which was like, the sex was spicy, but I mean, like
the one we just read.
No, this is something else. But
we'll talk about that later.
We'll talk about that later. But it was like well written, and I really cared about the characters. Like it was one of those I care. I mean, there was no dubcon. It was like, this is what 50 Shades should have been.
Yeah.
But even the one we read, that's what 50 Shades should have fucking been.
And I texted that to you, like, this is what I would have wanted. If this were 50 Shades of Grey, I would have read it.
You know what? Fuck it. Let's just say it now. Okay. So,
we're going to talk about it again later, but
yes. E.L. Koslow, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It's Foreplay on Words by from Cherry Publishing. There's a lot of sex. In fact, sometimes I was like, I'd like a little bit more plot, but it's fine. I mean, it's fine. The sex was hot, and it was very much researched well. the bondage environment and everything was like, you felt like there were things I learned. I was like, oh, I never knew that. And I felt good. And I felt that those characters felt safe in that environment.
I felt more educated afterward, to be honest.
I did. And I thought it was really interesting that like the whole like self-care and the care of your partner.
The aftercare, yeah.
Yes, was fantastic. So she has a couple other books, but this one is we received an arc from Cherry, and it was fantastic. So totally recommend. Which is kind of interesting since that's what we're talking about. But
right.
So sorry for the deviation from that. But
I will say, so the thing about 50 Shades of Grey, and that I really didn't realize until I watched this documentary, is if you had to pick a thing that like catapulted women being more in tune or embracing their sexuality, it's fucking 50 Shades of Grey, man.
And it being acceptable.
Yes, like for women, it's, and I'm sure this runs the gamut, but like as a whole, women are taught that like their bodies should be covered and that you're slutty if you show off skin, and they're judged by what they wear and how they act, and they get victim blamed if they're assaulted, and all of that is put back on us through shame or through blaming or whatever. And then like you feel bad about yourself, or you feel shame if you like some of the stuff discussed in 50 Shades of Grey or some of the stuff discussed in Foreplay on Words. And it's like, but why? Like, just notice that men are not drugged through that same spiral.
Right.
And so if anything good came of E.L. James writing very adult Twilight fan fiction, maybe it's that women are becoming more accepting and more like possessive of their sexuality and are embracing it.
Yeah, I mean, I don't care if it was, if it's soccer mom culture. I don't care. That's fine. Great.
Whatever.
Good. Could these soccer moms would have taken their sexuality in hand?
Please do.
Literally.
God, please do it.
Literally. You know what? Because them becoming an advocate for safe sex and healthy sexual relationships is just a bon mot for us, because it's like perfect, wonderful, great, because it just brings us further into the conversation. Because I mean, I have to say, I'm going to be in the minority here. I hate fucking Mad Men. I hate it. I hate the show. I hate all that goddamn bullshit, because you know what? That literally still set us back.
Oh yeah.
I mean, everyone loves it. They're like, oh, it's so great. But then
I actually never watched it. I don't have. It doesn't appeal to me.
I have no desire.
I don't. This is literally the life like my grandmother lived. You know, like,
right?
Why would I want
Why do I want to wax poetic about being, oh great, Peggy, at the very fucking end gets put into like a higher position. Fucking great, cool.
Like,
took her how many seasons to get that way? Awesome.
My mom was literally told when she was like looking at graduating from high school and stuff, and was looking at careers and whatnot, they literally said to her, you have 3 career choices. You can be a teacher, you can be a secretary, or you can, I think the third one was stay-at-home mom.
Yep.
So, and
it
she
was
like,
unheard of when our moms
yes,
to
I
go
will
to
be
college.
a teacher. Yeah. And my mom has a fucking master's degree. So like the fact that she did all of that, now she was a teacher, and like eventually it became legally in our state, you have to have a master's degree in order to teach. She had hers for years before that became a thing. But like, that was a really amazing thing that she did for herself. In the 70s, she went to the bank to get a loan, and they fucking told her no because she was a woman.
Yep.
This is literally 50 years ago, you guys. Like,
this
is
like
not that long ago.
Let's not wax. We could look at the fashion and go, I like that dress, but let's not go back there.
But I don't have any desire to like wax poetic about the 50s.
No. So agreed. Totally agreed. E.L. James, thank you for that.
Other than like the safeness and the fact that people could like walk around their neighborhoods feeling safer.
Well, if you were white.
Well, yes, huge caveat there. But like my mom tells stories about like walking around her neighborhood when she was a kid, you know, and like riding her bike all over the neighborhood and things like that are like, I kind of wish that. That's, I would say, is like the only thing that sounds sounds appealing to me, but that's not what those shows focus on. So
oh no, my father's always like, it was better that I said for you because you're a white male.
It was. Yep.
I said for me and people of color, not so great.
Not so much, guys.
Nope.
Or
but
for gay people.
Oh God. Or literally.
Happy
Pride. Yay. So it was an interesting documentary. I mean, it definitely shows. I do think we need to figure out a better way to wade through all the crappy books just to make sure that the good authors get our money. Because you and I have had now like a couple conversations on this podcast about Goodreads, and the review system, and I have reviewed in particular what I would have considered, like, I think it actually is considered erotica, which it's not, romantic erotica. And I, again, wish I could have my $5 back for buying it and giving it to somebody who I think is a better author.
Yeah, you and I have both been there.
Yeah. I mean, there just needs to be something like, well, what did I send you today? Or was it today or yesterday? I can't remember. My days are blending together. About
the screenshot?
There was a review where somebody had a negative review of a book, and then all the comments underneath it were like, yeah, this she has literally sicked her fans on, like, they're like, how is this 5 stars? How? The writing's awful. And they're like, but because her author friends, the friends of the author just keep putting these 5 stars in there, and then they're sicking on anybody who puts a bad review on. I'm like, come on, guys. Like, this is one of the reasons
that, like, on this podcast that we don't typically give star reviews. We rate like the romance and the spice, and that's it. And like, you decide whether this is something that's interesting to you or not. I'm not going to give you a 3-star or a 5-star or anything like that, because like, we all like different things, and that's fine. And I'm not going to say to you like that, no, I would never read this book. This book is a 1-star. I mean, to be honest, guys, we have read books for this podcast that we really didn't like. Yeah. But you wouldn't know that by listening to the episode. And it's not that I don't want to tell you like you shouldn't read this book because it's terrible. What I want to tell you is like, this is my assessment of the book. It's super spicy, not very romantic, or it's super romantic, but it's not very spicy. I still didn't like it. You know, like,
I think you should look at our cons and evaluate from that, because I think that should be enough to tell you. I think our cons give enough to say whether or not we like the book.
I think that's
not even that, I should say, or like whether or not you would like the book.
Right. Whether or not there are any deal breakers for you, maybe.
Right. And because like I said, like, I think in general the motto should be, not for me, maybe for you.
Good for her, not for me.
Not for me.
Right.
And
that's a great life motto in general.
Right. Exactly. Because I don't know what your thing is. I don't know what your trick is. It could be like finger up the bum. That's your thing.
We've read some of those too.
Yeah, I mean, maybe. Chris
Devlin.
Evans. What up? Jack Devlin. I need to stop clapping. Yeah, Jack Devlin.
I've developed a cackle that is mildly concerning.
No, it's not. It's lovely.
I'm glad you think so. You're the only person.
Now, people know my laugh. They're like, "Oh, I heard your laugh down the hallway." It's like, "Oh, go fuck yourself." Cool. Anyhow, about this movie,
I will say one of the parts that I loved was that they heavily interviewed the women I think they're sisters who own the Ripped Bodice.
Yes,
and that is a bookstore, a romance bookstore in LA. Is that where it is?
I think so.
I've decided
talking.
I need to just buy books from the Ripped Bodice. I just want to like support their business. They're 2 sisters that own this
Culver City, California.
Okay, Culver City,
close.
California. Right.
It's close.
So they own this bookstore that is completely dedicated to romance novels. And of course, like, they were talking about the sexism involved in that, and there are literally dudes who will like come in with their wives, or like are window shopping or whatever, probably with their wives. And they're like, do you even have enough business to keep the store open? And the one sister was like, how dare you fucking question my market research? How dare you think that I don't realize the kind of market that we're dealing with? Romance is one, and we've said it before in this podcast, is the highest grossing genre of books across the board by a lot.
Right.
Romance brings in the most money and sells the most books. That is how it is. It's how it's been for many years. It's probably more so now, since 50 Shades of Grey.
Right.
But like, and really since Kindle Unlimited. Kindle Unlimited has done a lot for romance authors.
Right.
So,
right.
So like, fuck you for your just innate sexism. Why are men? But they also talked about like, where was I going with that? It was something else having to do with her market research and like, people say to her like, how feminist is it of you to own a romance novel bookstore? And she was like, I don't really understand why you think that romance is not feminist, because it is written by women, for women, published by women, about women, and oftentimes edited by women,
right,
and then consumed by women in mass quantities. So like, why would you think that this is not feminist?
Because I think
because it's not written for you.
I think they equate romance novels with, and having a store called Bodice Rippers, they associate it with the Bodice Ripper, which you and I both know, even though I love them, are not the most feminist historically. The ones I read and you and like you and I both read are more feminist because they're trying to like change that stigma. But it's all like, I am if I don't have a man, I'm never going to get married and have children. I will be a prostitute.
Yeah, woe is me.
I'll be a spinster forever. I'm 21 years old.
Right. Mm-hmm. I am old.
I am old.
But I mean, that we talk about this all the time with historical fiction. That is a statement of fact, for women in the Regency era. They weren't allowed to own property. Yes. They weren't allowed to. They were, quote, ruined if they like kissed a man prior to getting married. You know, they weren't allowed to be alone with men. So fuck you, patriarchy, because y'all created that. That had nothing to do with us. We didn't do anything wrong. So like, having all of that as part of that entire genre is hard for me, because I'm like,
is it putting that be the label for the whole romance?
Yes, because
Fabio is the label for the whole romance genre.
Also there was a Fabio cutout.
There was
in the documentary.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. I think I think they put it. It's two things. Everyone puts erotica under 50 Shades, which makes sense because as of the history of it, and everybody puts romance under Fabio. Those are the two things. I mean, we don't go, science fiction, obviously, like of course my brain is like Isaac Asimov. No one does that, because obviously I tried to figure out fucking name. So like, or they're like, regular fiction. Who do you put?
Right. I mean, regular fiction is as broad a category as romance is.
Right.
It's the same. Right. You have like the same diversity there that you.
But
do
everyone,
in
because
novels.
thinks it's the romance is automatically ladies, lady parts, and fluttering bosoms.
Right.
So
heaving bosoms.
Heaving. Yes, sir.
We do follow some. I've been looking on TikTok. We legit follow some male romance authors now.
Yes,
and also
on Twitter
male
we do
romance
too.
readers.
Yeah,
like
good on you, man. I think it's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I can't wax poetic enough about. I used that a couple times tonight.
Yeah,
but Alexis Hall. I mean, come on.
Oh,
I mean, I love that
Alexis
man.
Hall.
I love him so much.
Everyone read Boyfriend Material.
Jesus.
So
we do
good.
have a couple like guys on our.
Yeah, Eddie Cleveland is on our list.
Well, we also have, oh shoot, I have to look. I'll look and I'll bring it up before the end. We do have a couple other ones that have written on our list. We just, it's at some point, guys, we will get back to our list, but
yeah, we've really deviated from the list.
Yeah.
Is there another dude on this list?
There's a couple. So the other one I think, I want to talk about a little bit is poor Kristen Proby's fucking relationship. Oh my God. So yeah, we really we see some horrible shit that happens to these women.
Yeah.
And
really demeaning
stuff and
dehumanizing things that happen to them.
And I hate to think that that's, I don't know. It's not my jam. Erotica really usually isn't my jam. So it's not something I normally seek out. If it happens, I'm all for it. But that's not something
it's not your go-to.
No, I'm never going to go to a con with because that seems like what that. So they do show a romance con, but I think it's an erotica con. I don't think it's a romance con that they go to.
Yeah, I don't know.
And yeah, it's just that's not my jam.
Yeah, I was uncomfortable by the just throngs of women fawning over half-naked dudes.
Yeah, I mean,
because I was like, is this a Vegas show or?
Right.
Is that just a model who came in to dance for?
Oh yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
The Magic Mike sort of thing.
Yeah,
that they were going
I'm not
to?
into that. I'm just not. It
I'm
makes me
either.
super uncomfortable. Maybe because I've been married for many years. I don't know, but
No, I don't like to objectify. I mean, even though we do share TikToks back and forth
constantly,
of good looking. Yeah. And it still feels bad. I still feel bad about objectifying the men because although they're pretty cool about objectifying themselves, which I have to laugh because they're all losing their minds because as of this week, there's been this
kid.
I think somebody said he's 21, so it makes me feel okay about it.
He looks like he's 15.
He looks like he's 18 years old. Whitey 18. Whitey, WHITEYY 18. And women,
he's 18 years old.
I know,
or he's lying about it.
He's adorable. He is very attractive. In a couple years, I will then feel okay about being he's hot, but now I don't feel comfortable about saying.
I look at him and I'm like, you look like a child.
He looks like somebody who graduated from this year.
His graduation is this weekend.
Yeah, he's this is his and these women are just losing their fucking minds about it, which makes me laugh. But what makes me laugh harder is that all these dudes who are usually just kind of just showing their just taking their shirts off.
V-cuts.
Yeah, they're cum gutters. They're cum gutters extraordinaires. They're just wait, the cougars don't want me anymore? No, you can leave your shirt on. You can leave your shirt on, baby. It's fine. Once you go just give me a wink. Because I think, actually, I do like the one lady.
It's so hot when they wink.
Well, the one lady said, and I get it. I mean, she's older than me. And she said, because also this kid uses 80s music.
Yeah, he does.
He uses yacht rock for the most part for his videos, and he fucking knows what he's doing. That's the other thing. I'm good for you, dude.
He does. Good for you.
Because he's making money. That's what I was like. You know what? Fucking do it. But also, get yours. Get yours, baby.
Yes, get yours, and then also get yourself a cougar who will teach you everything you ever need to know.
Right. I mean, I don't want to. I'm not going to be that cougar. No,
I'm not either. But
no.
But consenting adults. I'm just saying this might be a good idea for you, dude.
Yeah, go for it, Whitey.
Long-term potential, just saying.
Right.
As long as you're 18. Holy shit, I am not
No, I'm almost positive he's 18.
Why would 18 be in his profile name?
I don't
unless
know.
He's trying to make people believe he's 18.
Which is gross, but I don't know. I have no idea. I just know is that a couple of the ladies said. It's not him in general. It's just he also looks like Dirty Dancing. Patrick Swayze. He looks
Swayze, he does a little bit. Yeah.
They're it's Patrick Swayze. The music. It's bringing them back to high school.
Yeah. Oh, for sure.
And they're all having nostalgic moments. So I totally get it. I mean, I didn't. And maybe that's the thing. Is because I'm not. That's not my. That's. I mean, I guess if somebody looked like Kurt Cobain, I don't know. I don't know. I mean, if somebody looked like Alex from Everclear or Billy Joe Armstrong from Green Day, I guess. I don't know. Sure. But that's where that whole thing is coming from. So We've really got off topic. That's my own fault.
A little bit.
But there's really not much to talk about this. I mean, it's like there's a ton of books out there, and it's oversaturated the market, and these women are not making. I think what we were talking about with Kristen Proby is like so you see in the documentary is that so a lot of these women are also self-publishing. I think that's where the whole thing comes from. It's like they're self-publishing, and Kristen Proby actually goes through a publisher for her last book. And I said to Veronica, I'd love to read a self-published and then a published to see
what the difference is. And that's something that we talked about. Like, I want to read one of her self-published ones and then read one of the ones that was traditionally published, because I just want to see they talk about that, like the differences between self-publishing versus not, and like and the level of control you have and things like that.
Which I have to say, I don't know. I'm not a writer. But there's got to be some reason as to why, like, these editors obviously know what they're talking about.
Well,
like,
yeah,
they're not leading you astray. Like, they're not just trying to fuck you. Like, they want the product to sell.
Yeah, right. Of course. I mean, it makes sense. They want that. The book sales are what help them keep work.
Right.
So,
and because that's less reviews that I write that go, the fuck is wrong with the continuity in this book?
Yeah.
You know, because I've done it. And so I just one of those, it would be interesting. I get it. I mean, and I think the other thing with this is there have been so many, I think we've talked about before, Wattpad. Wattpad in particular, because fan fiction is fan fiction. So it's mostly, or like our Archive of Our Own is fan fiction. So it's more along the lines of TV shows, movies, books, blah, 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 blah. Wattpad is more along the lines of original stuff.
Yeah.
So.
And there's good stuff on Wattpad. It's not like.
No, but it's not great. I mean, I'm going to be serious. I'm going to be completely honest. Like, it's tough. Like, I've gone through it, and
well, it's all amateur stuff, right?
It's amateur stuff, and there's no betas. There's nobody to. I mean, there are betas, but not as much as like you had with.
Well, but it's good that, like, I mean, good for them. Maybe they're.
Yeah,
going to be published later, you know?
Right. And I think it's a good place to start. It's a good place to start.
Yeah,
but some people maybe
a good place to, like, let people start reading your shit so that you can
get excited about it.
Yeah, and get excited about it and get used to people providing you criticism, because that's hard.
That's super hard. And I think that's the other issue with Goodreads is, like, you can't take criticism. It's like... I would want to know if there was something wrong with my story, or, you know, but some of these ones on Goodreads, though, at the same time, like, as much as I say there's like just all positives and I read this book and it's a goddamn mess, at the same time, there are so many reviews where I'm like, okay, guys, this is vindictive. This is personal. Like, this isn't constructive for anybody, you know?
Right.
So it's, you know, one half.
It'll be interesting to see. I'd be interested to get like an update on these authors. I might.
Yeah. Well, we got some of an update.
Yeah, you get like a bit of an update. One of the things, this moment that like you and I both just got so fucking furious.
Yeah.
So Kristen Proby is the one who she self-published, and then she also had some books published traditionally. Mm-hmm. She grew up, I guess she was born and raised in Whitefish, Montana, but then, like, moved elsewhere and was married and stuff. And her husband was you never meet him because they were no longer together. But she says during her interviews that her husband called her a fucking whore and like was really shitty to her in front of her readers. Yeah. Like at a meet and greet or a convention or like a signing or something. she wasn't specific about what the event was. She just said that he was horrible to her in front of her readers. And it was when he called her a fucking whore that she just left. She was like, I literally threw a few things into a bag and laughed and went back to Whitefish.
Well, and here's my question. I wonder if there is an intersection, especially speaking of 50 Shades and Soccer Moms, if these are women who are from marriages that are like somewhat religious background, and they are, you know, even though they themselves are married, they're writing about stories that maybe the protagonist is not, and or they're like they're straining at their their cultural or their religious sort of bonds, and they're going and they're outside of their quote unquote like societal norms and writing these books.
Right. Maybe they're using it as fantasy. It's like a way to express a side of themselves that they don't feel like they can. Right.
And so it's just one of those, these husbands don't know what to do. I mean, and not that I'm not giving them a pass
against them, but like,
right. It's not anything to do with them at all. It's just, here's where my brain's going. Mm-hmm. And I don't know. I mean,
it's okay. Throw out the whole man.
All of him.
Throw out that whole man. Get you a new one.
You know what? Get you a girl. Get you a girl.
Seriously. I love every TikTok that is like alluding to dating like a lesbian or a bisexual person who is dating,
or a trans person. Yeah.
Right. Sure. Who is dating a woman, and it's the woman's first time dating another woman.
Yeah.
And they're always like, they are so shocked and enthralled by the basic level of human decency I am showing.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I'm laughing, but like, it's not funny. I mean, it's really not fucking funny. It's just that the bar is on the floor.
Fucking ground, guys.
And like, these women are like, oh, you're not mad at me because I just want some alone time? You're not mad at me because like, oh, you open...
I have my period and I just
like,
want to cry.
Want to not be touched. I just want to like sit on the couch and like not be touched for a while and maybe watch a movie by myself or read a book or something. Like, just basic human decency.
Well, and I hate to put men in that like, bucket, but at the same time, I'm wondering if that's where these women are coming from. It's this like stodgy sort of like, and again, I'm using religious, but it is, I mean, conservative sort of background, especially with Montana. It's going to be a really, really conservative background. And they're now suddenly writing about like, fucking like threesomes. BDSM. Yeah. Or whatever. Yeah. Or, anal sex and shit. And they're like, dude. And at the same time, like, I understand where the guy's coming from too, though. It's like, but I mean, as a woman, of course, I would never go, you're a fucking whore. But, and I would hope that whoever I was with would be like, can we talk about this? Can we talk this through?
Right.
And obviously this guy is a dickhead and needs to be taken out back and beat. But
he obviously has issues with his own masculinity.
Oh, absolutely. Again, Montana. So,
well, they didn't live in Montana at that time. I don't know. I mean, or it wasn't Whitefish. I guess I don't know. Like,
I don't know. I don't know where she was at.
They weren't super clear about where she was at because at the time when they're talking to her, she's in Whitefish.
But she has a happy ending. She does find somebody different.
She finds somebody else.
That made me feel good. Mm-hmm. So
yeah,
and hopefully he knows all. And that's the thing too. Is like you're also springing something on someone who's like not. Maybe that's out of their comfort zone. I mean, it's a dialogue. I think that's the thing. It's like, it's a whole social dialogue, cultural dialogue that, I mean, I don't want to, we're also seeing one side of everything.
Yeah.
I mean, who knows? It was interesting. I think Miss Rockless.
God, we suck.
Did a really good job of putting one side out. It would be interesting to see the other side, of seeing the husband's side. I think just for, I mean, not that I'm going to do anything with it and say, well, yeah, you're right in this, but it's nice to see like where the background. I mean, we get very little background, so just to get the whole picture.
I do love every filmmaker. So from the director to the producer to the DP to the composer to the editor, all women.
And should be. It really should be.
Oh, absolutely, they should be. But we know that that's not always true. I like
as a good documentarian, is they would have both sides of the story.
Yeah,
they would talk to the husbands. I mean, although they do talk to Laura Lynn's Page.
Yeah, I mean, but it's also not about. It's not about their marriages. It's about
that's the document. That's the documentary.
It's the Dateline decorator.
I'm gonna make about their lives, and I can be like,
right.
I'd like to talk to your husband. Can I talk to your husband?
Hi, can
please?
I talk to your shithead husband? But yeah, I mean, overall, it's like an hour and a half long. It's very fascinating. If you are interested in, I mean, I would imagine if you're listening to this podcast, you're interested in romance novels, or you're one of our friends who listens to just support us. We love you. But it's very fascinating. It might introduce you to some new authors you want to check out. I really enjoyed learning more about these people. I really did.
Agreed.
I thought it was really fascinating to hear the journeys that they went on and the things that they went through and the hoops that they had to jump through to get there. And then how to deal with, like, in most cases, like, the downfall. Like, there's a point in the documentary where you're like, and now it's the sad part.
I texted Veronica. I said, I'm at the sad part.
Yeah, like you started like a few minutes before me that day.
Yeah. I said, it's going to get rough from now on. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because they hit the wall. They hit the...
Yeah. They hit like the saturation point, and then
exactly,
they were like...
saturation point, yeah.
I forget which one which author it was, but one of them was like, my readers have like forgotten about me because there are so many other options.
And honestly, she had just published like 6 months ago. Like, it was sad. It was super sad. And I thought, but I think that's the difference between erotica and writing regular romance.
I do too. I mean, I feel like...
Because there's a build-up, I think, with romance.
Yeah, and I also feel like with romance authors that I like and that you like, we'd read fucking anything from them. It doesn't matter how long it's been since they've published.
Fucking Lisa Kleypas has the last Ravenel's coming out in like fucking next month, and I'm losing my shit already. Yeah,
of course. Like when we found out Rhodes was coming out from Mariana Zapata,
yes,
it was like a full scale, like, huge alert for me. I mean, I texted you in all caps.
Alert.
Red fucking alert.
Red alert. Red alert. Red alert.
I mean, we love knowledge fight. Anyway, like, I think there is loyalty in romance reading.
Yeah. Which I don't know. I mean,
to a great extent, I think, but maybe it doesn't translate that closely into erotica. I don't know.
Well, I want to put this out there. There's a reason. I mean, like, you're also, so let me equate erotica to porn, because it's this. When you think about it, it's kind of the same.
Lady porn.
It's people are fickle when it comes to porn, and they're not like you're not waiting for the next porn to come out. You're just gonna like
you're just gonna find something that like is gonna hit that button right now.
Smash that button. Smash that button.
Smash that button. But like my mom, I'm so sorry. Jesus.
Oh, Veronica's mom.
I'm so sorry. I love you. I don't know. Maybe. I mean, maybe you're right. Maybe that's the thing.
It's, I have a feeling it's, because honestly, why are we reading erotica?
Well.
Why are we watching porn?
Well.
There you go.
They do talk about how, like, it's not porn, but.
Right.
My friend who is a published romance author says, she said to me recently, like, she was talking about her sex scenes and stuff, and she was like, Amazon sometimes puts me in the erotica section, which I don't particularly want to be in.
Right.
And because it's just not, I mean,
because she's
nothing
got
wrong
plot.
with it. That's just not what her goal is. So she was like, it's, that's feedback that I am not entirely sure I want to fulfill.
Well, because you're going to make somebody angry.
Yeah. God. But like, she said, Amazon likes to pretend that they don't sell porn or like that they're not a sex shop. But essentially they are, because they also sell dildos.
Right.
And like personal lubricant and erotica and like, I mean, like the one woman's book in the documentary was not published.
Right.
By Amazon because they were like,
Right. I mean, well, they also put them under massagers, so it's fine.
Mm-hmm. Please just fucking call it what it is. I mean,
was it hair? You remember those do you remember those magazines that your grandma would get about like, here's all these things like a wind chime and shit like that, and like it was called something Teeter. Something Cedar, like not.
I don't know. It just makes me think of
Harriet Teeter. I think it was called Harriet Teeter. Oh, I know it's Harris Teeter, which is like
the grocery store.
Grocery store, but I think it's Harriet Teeter.
That's weird.
Had like this, and all of a sudden I saw one not too long ago. I was like, oh no, they're selling vibrators, but they're called massagers. I was like, that's a fucking vibrator, guys.
Okay, listen, everyone who has Netflix, I want you to just do yourself a favor and go watch Grace and Frankie with Jane Fonda and Lily Tomlin. At some point, I forget which season it is, if it's season 1 or season 2, they make a vibrator designed for senior citizen women.
Oh.
That is like, that has like an orthopedic design, like for hand, like, so it is fucking hysterical. And the scene where they talk to literally their ex-husbands and their children about it, I swear to God, is the funniest thing I've ever seen on television.
Oh, I do really need to watch that show.
That show is fucking gold.
June Diane Raphael. So, of her. All right.
Okay. Anyway, this is definitely it's worthwhile watching. It'll take you.
If you have Hulu,
Friday
it's
night
free. Come on.
Yeah. It's totally worth a watch if
it's
if
like
this
80
is something
minutes,
you're interested
right?
in.
It's
probably
really,
like an hour and a half ish, like an hour and 20 minutes or something like that.
I'm looking to see what you said.
It's good.
I think it's it told me 82 minutes.
It's very fascinating.
Yeah.
There's been some shit on TikTok about like people pirating books and shit. Please, especially if you watch this documentary, like there are real people behind this, okay?
Right.
Real people. So like if you, we're not here to berate anybody. Please use your library system.
Oh, totally.
If you can.
Yeah.
I also recognize that not everyone has transportation to the library. I know that a lot of times they'll do like electronic loaning and whatnot. Mm-hmm. If you can, please don't. If you can afford to, please don't pirate books. Please.
Yeah.
Because the authors rely on that. I mean, this is literally their job. It's their method of income. So it's the same as shoplifting. So please, do what you can to support authors. It's important. This is literally their work. It's their art. It's their lifeblood. So,
and follow them on any social media that you have. Please do. And
if you can support your local bookstores, please do it.
Oh my gosh, yeah. So we have both started our A Smut shelves. So we've purchased. Mm-hmm. So
we've started purchasing the books that we have particularly enjoyed.
I mean, we've purchased them like electronically, and now we're purchasing
the
physical books. And I just purchased boyfriend material. I'm so excited.
Oh my God. So I went to my mom's today and I sent you a video of me flipping through. She got boyfriend material from the library and she went and picked it up today before I got there. So like when I got to her house, it was like sitting on the counter and I like picked it up and I was like, boyfriend material. I'm so excited.
Also, boyfriend material. Somebody made Legos of boyfriend material.
People are upset. Like it has like a bit of a cult following, I feel like. Which,
Alexis, I love you so much. I can't even handle. Okay.
He's amazing. Everyone read boyfriend material. Listen to episode 11 and also read boyfriend material.
Yeah.
All right. Shall we wrap this
up? Chasing her tail.
Oh.
So I'm just.
What up, Luna?
Luna's chasing her tail. So
Lunestra.
it's about that time.
Okay.
Lunestra. Lunar eclipse is chasing her tail. So, we have coming up with Page to Screen. I just finished Wicked.
Yep.
The book.
I'm not going to read the book, but I will watch the movie.
I read the book. It's I shouldn't sound that it was it was good. I liked it a lot. So we're gonna watch the movie next. So we're gonna get a Page to Screen probably the week after. I don't know when we're gonna have that out.
Yeah, I don't know. This was supposed to come out 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, that's my fault, guys. My fault.
Whoops.
It's cool.
It's not just your fault. It's also my fault. I'm trying to look at one point. I had written down what the fuck we were gonna do. So yeah, Wicked. So Naughty Books, then Wicked, and then I'm going to read Driven.
Which fueled, I guess, the trailer comes out this week.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay. So I'll get on the first book at least so that I can watch the first one.
And if you guys have any suggestions, because I have a couple in my head. Veronica, I have not run this by her, so I'm just going to throw it out there, and she's going to smack me in the face when she sees me.
I will never.
Because Passion flicks, there's only a few that I can review The Will, but I would like something that she and I maybe could read together.
Word. I know you're not really into the racing thing, so
no, I'm good.
That's fine.
It's fine. But in Passion Flicks, we're running out of Passion Flicks originals. That's the issue too.
Bummer.
So I was thinking of other books that have been made into movies, and Warm Bodies is one that I keep thinking of, which I've read and I love.
I thought that was a horror film.
It is. It's a zombie horror. It's a zombie horror romance.
All right.
It's super cute. We don't have to put it on the list. We don't have to put it on the list.
So is Shaun of the Dead.
But it's not a book.
Oh, it's not. Okay, you're right.
Yeah, I've read Warm
Zombie
Bodies
horror
too.
Romance.
Warm Bodies is super cute. Anyhow,
right.
but
we don't have to.
We will consider it. But if you guys have other ones that you're like, hey, if you guys have other ones, you're like, come on. We can also do Emma. We could do the newest Emma.
Yeah, that's true.
So we'll think about it. We've got some stuff coming up, but
Jane Austen.
I've seen the newest Emma. I'm okay with it. I'm okay with it.
Yeah, so if you have any suggestions, let us
please let us know. But that's Page to Screen, bitches.
Yeah, so please, you can find us at www.chicletbookclubpodcast.com. We're on Twitter at Chicklit Podcast. We're on TikTok at Chicklit Book Club. We're on Pinterest at Chicklit Book Club Podcast. You can email us at chicklitbookclubpodcast@gmail.com. And you can find us on YouTube. Google that or just click on the link in the description of the episode.
Cool.
Much easier that way.
Right. It's a bit.ly. All right.
All right, y'all. Today you should also be getting episode 12 and a half, which is our ARC review of My Kinda Perfect. So if you are somehow not tired of our voices yet, go ahead and...
God help you. Especially mine. Again. Who's that girl who sounds like a dude?
That is ridiculous. Ridiculous. Here, listen. Someone once told me that my voice has dulcet tones. So if anyone ever fucking tells you that your voice is too low, just be like, they're dulcet tones, you motherfucker.
Oh, okay. Well, dulcet just kind of means smooth, right? Smooth.
Do you think your voice isn't smooth like jazz?
No, I don't. All right.
Where did this cackle come from? I have a problem. Okay.
I also sound like that the character, that cartoon character goes... Somebody called it the other day, and I was like, I don't know what the name of it is. But, oh God, I don't know. But I was like, yeah, it's just a wheezing sound. I'm
really enjoying your wheezing laugh. I think it's funny. I like all wheezing laughs because someone's laughing super hard if they're wheezing.
Dom DeLuise. That's who it is. Dom DeLuise.
Nice.
Yeah, I'm about as fat as Dom DeLuise right about now.
Ridiculous.
Anywho,
Shut
guys.
Up, you're beautiful. I will yell. Right. I will yell compliments at you.
Okay, Yuki.
Beautiful.
Okay, Yuki. All right. Until next time, our beautiful listeners.
Bye.
Bye.